Hi there YouTube, this is the Magnus bringing you another Total War Warhammer Online Ladder Battle. Some post DLC patch action here for you. I elected to bring the Beastmen, and my opponent appropriately decided to play as the Wood Elves. So let's go ahead and take a look at my build. I have a mixed line of Gore Herd and Best Gore alternating. So I have 4 of the Gore Horde, 3 of the Best Gore Horde. And then on the flanks, I have an Ungor Spearman on each side. And then I also have the Bray Shaman with Beasts, 1 Gore Bull without a potion, QQ, and Morgor the Shadow Gave. And then Vanguard deployed on each flank. I have 2 units of Harpies, so 1 on the left and 1 over here on the right. Now let's take a look at what my opponent decided to do with his build. Up front, he has 2 Eternal Guards with shields. He also has 2 of the Treekin up front as well. Behind them, he has Glade Guard with Hagbane tips and 2 with Starfire shafts, which from my testing, by the way, just a heads up, the Starfire shafts are good against armor. Against anything else, you want the Hagbane tips. The I forget, the Swift Shards or whatever, they don't work properly. They're horrible. Don't ever take them. Just a little public service announcement. Behind his archer line, he has 2 of the Wildwood Rangers. And then behind that, he has a Eternal Guard with no shield, War Dancers with Azrai Spears, a unit of Sister of the Thorns, a Branch Wraith for healing and whatnot, and finally the Glade Lord up on that gorgeous was a Forest Dragon. That is so freaking cool. Anyways, let's go ahead and get this fight started. As I didn't elect to bring missiles or cav, obviously going to be very aggressive here, so I'm going to push right away, and then bring the Harpies in on the flanks. Now the idea with the Harpies, and what I've found them most useful for, is they can tie up a flyer usually for a considerable amount of time. They're good for that. Obviously they're good for rear charges. From the front, they cannot kill any sort of infantry at all. Like, don't use them that way. It won't work. But what they're very good at is taking out missile units. And, you know, cav can do that, missiles can do that, but air units like these Harpies are great for it because you just fly right in there. You don't have to push through or outflank or anything. They're kind of, you know, there's smart weapons and there's dumb weapons. They're a dumb one. You just point, click, and they get there. And that's quite useful. So you're going to see I start to bring in both the flanks, or at least I got the commands put in for this one. I had them all targeting archers. His dragon's going to intercept. Now the dragon's more of the exception to the rule. He will, as you saw, chew through Harpies without a second thought. So he can definitely be a barrier to entry. But just about any other build of the Wood Elves, he'll be able to get in there. And they're useful against a lot of different factions. So we've got the line engaged. I'm overloaded on his left, but he has a powerful unit there. He's got the Treekin here. The Bestigors are good for hacking through their armor, which is one of the reasons why I like to bring them. Over here, same thing. Bestigors on them. You're going to see these Wildwood Rangers dispatched my Spearmen very early, but here you see, you know, the Harpies beating on archers, which is going to affect, you know, obviously they can't shoot when they're getting beat on. I've got Gore Bull back here messing with his dragon and his spellcaster, Branch Wraith that is, along with Morgor. They're kind of buddies, and they're going to stick together most of this fight. He's doing a good job of cycling his dragon around to good effect where he's needed. You can see the Harpies are not resistant to missiles, but they move quite quick, and they're able to close that distance, and they have enough models that they can usually hang long enough to get where they're going. So that's causing a lot of disruption to his archers. The infantry game, I'd say, is about 50-50. His spears have fled. I've had a spear and a Vestigor flee. They will return. But you can see in the center we have a huge overload here where we just beat down everything that was in the middle of his field. Which is where all these fleeing units originated. Back here, 2 Harpies on this archer unit. They're not going to chew through them super fast, but you'll see they're very regularly bringing down the health and they're taking some arrows in the back in the meantime. So now I take my center and decide to fight on the right. He's overloaded here, and I don't want to have that engagement yet. I want to remove as much of his stuff from the field as I can. So we're going to get in on these treekin. Now treekin are so freaking tanky, it is ridiculous. It's basically like hammering at a brick wall with a lot of units. You need armor piercing, and preferably a lot of it to get through these guys. I bring down a flock of doom to help chew through them, as well as these wildwood rangers, who are no slouches themselves. But you can see, even with this huge amount of pain that I'm bringing, including 2 chaos spawns that I summoned, it is just so hard to get those guys off the field. So looking back at the overview, I've got a few units fleeing. He's got he got his caster out of there. I really should have finished him. That was sloppy, and I may pay for it later. And that's how those things work. So his right is broken up, so I decided it's time to bring my army against his. As you can see, the power bar is well in my favor, and at this point I'm expecting a victory to come relatively quickly. Obviously my lord's over here by himself, but Morgor is so freaking tanky. He's like he's worse than a treekin that way. He's awesome. So now I'm trying to get my guys over here to join the fight, and I figure, you know, I'll whack out these units, and he's going to keep bringing in his dragon. Every time he does, I'm going to beat on his lord, and we should have victory soon. But things aren't, you know, things aren't always how you plan them. So we'll see. But if you're peeking at the time, you know it's not going to happen anytime soon. And this really shocked me, so I've been kind of interested to study this video and see, you know, what happened here, because I have a ton of guys. But look, the balance bar just starts going, you know, way in his favor. Now, what is that came down? The curse? It's just a curse. It doesn't hurt their health or anything like that. So I'm not quite sure what happens, but I think a lot of it has to do with the fear and terror of this darn dragon, which he just used a potion on to get it back up to fighting strength here. So, you know, I'm just bringing the pain. There's a giant dark cloud, freaking zaps going around the chaos spawn here. And I have such a numeric advantage as far as units. I mean, look at all this. But I cannot get rid of this last treekin. He's a pain in the butt. He keeps getting his this what do they call, branch wraith away from me. He keeps, you know, coming in and out with the dragon, and I'm just not making progress. So we're gonna go to a faster speed here. He pins down a chaos spawn that I was able to summon out of one of his dying units. That's a really cool ability too. But here you're going to see I have giant leadership issues, and everybody starts to flee. Just everybody starts bailing on me. And now the power bar is in the middle, and the next thing I know, I just have my lord and 2 chaos spawn. And all of these guys just ran on me. And now I'm starting to think, I just went from what I thought was a certain victory to what I believe now is going to be a certain loss. But some of my men rally, I bring them back in. But they don't seem to be stabilizing at all. My Gorbol totally bailed on me, and the next thing I know, the only thing that's listening to me is Morgor. So I deal with that unit, then I come over here to try to deal with his Blade Guard. He's going to pin me down again, and then the dragon's going to come chew on him, and he's going to fight back, and then, you know, we hit other things whenever we don't have access to the dragon. He's doing good damage to him, though, so I feel like I'm getting somewhere. Then I finally get some units back, so I bring them over. He very intelligently intercepts them, destroys them, and then shoots that and gets rid of the last of my support. So very good play on his part. These abilities that the elves have that don't cost any winds of magic, in a prolonged engagement, they're going to serve you very well, because you're going to get to use them so many times for that cost. It's so cost effective. It's unreal. So again, like when the dragon's out, when I don't have access to trying to punch him in the face, I'm attacking this treekin. But my God, they have no desire to die whatsoever. But, you know, as I always say in the channel, if there's any chance, don't quit. You know, this is frustrating. But look at this dragon. He's getting weak. He's going to have to either stop bringing him in, or he's going to have to risk me chopping its head off. And he's going to have risked it one too many times there. So he's fleeing, and then once I get rid of the Sisters of the Thorns, I win. So let's take a look at the tail of the tape. This is a very aggressive Beastman build, by the way. I have another one where I use the Gore Herd with shields, and it's just overall it has some more defense to this. This is very offensive, but that's why I like it. It's hyper aggressive. So the Gore Herd did well, those that didn't get shot to pieces or chopped down by some nasty creature. The Harpies, a little underwhelming in this fight. They definitely helped. If I didn't have them take out those missiles, it would have been a sad story very early on. But generally they do better than this. So it wasn't great for them. But great game to my opponent. He played so damn well. Sometimes when you play someone, you just know there's a great mind on the other side, and that can be intimidating. But for me, it just makes me want to rise to the challenge. The Spearmen were virtually worthless. I don't even think I got my 300 worth out of them, so that wasn't good. Gorbel did fine. Bray Shaman, Flock of Doom is always worth it, 99.9% of the time. Morgor the Shadowgave. Without this guy, if this would have been before he was introduced, which of course there wouldn't be Wood Elves, but if I would have had any other Lord, they would have been long gone, and I wouldn't have had 4 Chaos spawn throughout the fight. This guy is clutch. I like him a lot, and he's by far the best the Beastmen can offer. Taking a look at how my opponent's army did, right away, his Lord just absolutely murdered 145 of my Beastmen, and the Wildwood Rangers were, they're expensive, but damn, I'd have to say they were worth it in this engagement. So kudos there. Eternal Guards and Shields, okay, for the price. This is disappointing for a War Dancer with the Spear. But considering the only thing I had on the field, I believe that's considered large, is the Gorbel. It's just hit or miss that way. The Glade Guard, I feel like my Harpy intervention did a good number on them. Sisters of the Thorn did okay. I'd like to see more kills here, but utility-wise, they definitely helped them out. And then the Treekin, you don't really measure them by kills. You should really measure the success of a Treekin by how long they're on the field fighting. And the answer here is a damn long time, as is usual for them. So they were quite effective. So very close match. They don't get any closer than that. A very long match. I hope you enjoyed it. I love bringing you guys content, and now with the DLC, we have new stuff to bring to you. So if you learned something, if you liked it, please hit like, please hit subscribe. It definitely helps build the channel, which I think is a good thing, because we've got a community here. We learn together, and we have fun. Until the next time, this is the Magnus, and I'll see you on the ladder.